Yes, we're back with another episode, another rider. Today we have Ash in the car. We're stuck in traffic in Camberwell. And Ash is a stylist, and he seems like he's got a whole background going on, so we're just going to find out and see what we can learn from him. So nice to have you here today, Ash.
Hey man, thank you for having me.
Okay, that's good. So what is a stylist, first of all?
So a stylist is, well, when you say a hairstylist is somebody that kind of basically goes between male and female hair. And it's not necessarily someone that basically specializes in only one thing. It's multiple stuff. So they could specialize in braids, barbering, basically everything that you would want all in one place.
Okay.
More or less.
Oh, why did you choose that over barbering?
The reason why I chose hairdressing over barbering was because my aunt did hairdressing, and I just felt like growing up I was very into my appearance. So I spent a lot of time in the salon, and I felt like it was easier to make money at the time. And then as I grew older, I started to realize I had a lot more passion for it, where I wanted to be an actor, and that didn't really work out for me. I kind of just stayed within that field. So being in the hairdressing field, it basically opened up other doors, because when you're able to sit down and speak to somebody, you just never know what that person does, you know what I mean? So it could then elevate you and take you to another level in your career. So I think for me, that's more of the reason why I kind of stayed with it, because again, you never know who you meet and the opportunities that may come for it. So through doing it, I've had a few opportunities that have been quite big for me in my career.
So, yeah, you speak of opportunities.
Mm-hmm.
What opportunities have you had?
I've had opportunities, like recently, 3 weeks ago, I flew out to New York to work with Bianca Saunders, whom is my cousin. And basically, Bianca Saunders is a menswear designer. So I flew to New York to do one of the biggest events in fashion, which is the Met Gala 2023. I've done that alongside Bianca Saunders and Usher. And it was also filmed by Kalana. So things like that, working with artists like Michaela Cole, that has TV shows on Netflix, and doing princesses from like Nigeria and stuff like that. So yeah.
Okay, so what is the Met Gala, like an African theme thing or something?
No, so the Met Gala, every year they have different themes. So this year was Karl Lagerfeld. Karl Lagerfeld is basically a designer that designs for like the houses Fendi. He designs for Chanel. It's very, high fashion designs that this particular this particular designer does. So he passed away, and basically what the Met Gala did, they put together an event which basically celebrated his life. So a lot of the people that came, they was wearing archive garments that could have been made in the 90s.
Yeah,
in honor of him. And then obviously everything was very suited, because it was very well tailored kind of clothing. So yeah.
You spoke about you tried acting, it didn't work out. What went wrong for you?
I feel like at the time when I was doing my performing arts, I felt like there wasn't enough guidance. And at the time, there was something that you needed, which was called an equity card, which allowed you to work within acting circle. So for me, I struggled to basically get jobs. And where I was living by myself from such a young age, I felt like I needed to have something that could basically give me fast money, but at the same time, I could still do like my little theatre workshops on the side and other stuff, just to maintain myself, and also still be able to do something within my field that I love.
You spoke about you've been on your own from a young age.
Yeah.
What kind of person were you like in school?
In school, I was actually on the gifted and talented list. I was a very creative individual. From a young age, I think I accessed a lot of stuff that a lot of people never got to access. So from like the age of 13, I was doing talent shows. I would go and get funding from Camelot Foundation, which is the Lotto Foundation. Things like that. I would do a lot of workshops. I'd always be involved in like summer arts college, and I'd always be attached to people that are kind of like industry people. So at the time, I'd be around my godmother, who is Kim Walker. She used to be the daughter in Desmond's. So she would kind of push me to do a lot of different things wherever I felt comfortable.
So you come from a family of creative people then?
Yeah.
Okay, that's good. So you moved, when you were leaving school, did you study in the arts?
So when I actually finished school, the last 2 years of school, I started attending college. So before a lot of people in my school, because of, how can I put it, because of the tier that I was in terms of like exams and stuff like that, I was able to start a performing arts course at a college, which I completed while I was in school. So by the time I had finished, I was already on performing arts, already had certificates for it. I then went on to work with Radar, which is the biggest theatre company in the world. Well, one of the biggest theatre companies in the world, and I did a lot of workshops with them. And then I went on to work with a scriptwriter called Rennie Harris that produced a play called Romeo and Jules, which was in the Peacock's Theatre, and that was basically made up of like a lot of dancing, break dancing. There was not actually a Juliet, it was a silhouette. So yeah, I just kind of just made sure that I was always out and about and active.
Okay, so I'm trying to understand, to what point did it really go wrong for you that you rule out acting?
I wouldn't say that it was a wrong point for me. I just felt like the opportunities, what we have now, where like you can go online and you can look and stuff like that, I didn't really have access. Back then, you had access to a lot of stuff, but in order to be able to do things like, for instance, go on the internet, you might have to go to the internet cafe or something. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah,
Not
I forgot
everybody would
about
have,
that.
yeah, nobody would have internet in their house, so you'd have to go to the internet cafe. Nobody was really talking about what was online. A lot of these acting stuff, they wasn't online back then, because I'm the generation of basically the internet. You know what I mean? The internet coming out, whatever, but it doesn't necessarily mean that I always stayed and made sure that I knew what was on trend, kind of thing. So I just kind of went along with what was going along. And then as time built up, you started to see that the equity for theatre, the equity card that you needed to work, that basically disappeared. A lot more agencies came about, a lot more opportunities in terms of like auditions came about that was actually visible for people to see. Because there was a point where these things wasn't visible, so you wouldn't know that these things are happening for you. So I think for me, where it just kind of dragged, I feel like it's a part of my personality. So what I try to do, I try to import that into my hands as well when I'm doing people's hair. So it's always fun, there's always banter, there's always like laughter, you know what I mean?
No, I hear you. I hear you.
Yeah.
That's good. So it's been an enjoyable journey for you.
Most definitely. It's been an eye-opener. I would say one of the best times in my career, which is, it's really weird to say, but it was actually Corona. I landed a TV advert with Mini Cooper, and the TV advert basically went on for 3 years. I got street casted for it, and I had opportunities to see diversity in companies like Burberry and stuff like that. So yeah, it's been a very big journey, and it's literally been one thing after the other. I feel like when you manifest stuff, like you just have to be prepared for when those manifestations start to come to pass, because when they come, it's not like one thing at a time, it's like 3, 4, 5 things, one after the other, one after the other. So you just have to be ready to jump onto it.
I hear you. I hear you. That's all good.
Yeah.
What would be your advice to a young person coming into your industry today?
I feel like my advice for a young person coming to the industry today, I would say stay focused. I know that sometimes people may say that you can't be jack of all trades and be jack of none. I would say that I'm 50-50 on that. You can be everywhere. You can do anything that you want to do. I just believe that you just have to stay focused. Make sure that you take time to hone your craft. Don't chase the money, because sometimes when you chase the money, you miss out on the smaller details. But I would say just hone your craft, work on it. Make sure you get yourself out there so people know who you are, and you'll start to see. And I will always say like to people, like, don't be scared to talk, because the problem that we sometimes have is that we don't talk enough. You know what I mean? And it's until you start talking, that's when things start really happening for you. So it's just a matter of staying focused and being continuous in what you're doing.
Okay, that's good. You heard that saying, actually, a jack of all is still better than a master of one.
Most definitely, I agree. That's why I always say every god. When they say, oh, every god, what does that mean? Well, when you break it down, it's every goddamn thing. You know what I mean? I do everything. So, you know, you got Godisha, you got every god, you got, you know, like you got jack of all trades, you know what I mean? I'm every god. I can do everything, you know what I mean? So I'm just grateful that I have the opportunity to be able to impart a lot of this stuff on people, because I feel like it's not only just my hands, it's also what you're saying to people that will make them want to come back to you. So it's definitely...
That's good. What does the future hold for you?
Right now, I just believe that the future is bright. I am making sure that I put myself out there more. I would love to basically be a head stylist in a major fashion show, get some sponsors behind me, just basically build my profile as much as I can to the point where, I've got there and I can't see really over, and at some point hopefully open up my own business.
Talking about profile, do you have a social media channel?
I do have a social media channel.
What's
You
it
guys
called?
can check me on Instagram. It's Ash2U, ASH, number 2, and the letter U. And the company that I work for is Elevate 399, and we're based in Cole Harbour Lane in Brixton.
Oh, okay, that's good. So it's a local thing you work for then?
Yeah,
So you're from South London originally?
I'm from South London, born in Sydenham, grew up around Brixton side, and as I started to attend secondary school, I went more to like New Cross, Deptford side for my schooling.
That must have been quite interesting for you.
Yeah, it's a different vibe because you go from big Jamaica, which is Brixton, to then come to New Cross where it's a bit of Caribbean people and Chinese. So it was it's a bit of a
Yeah,
mix.
it's Vietnamese, isn't it?
Yeah, Vietnamese. I went to school with a lot of Chinese people.
Okay. Tell us about the hairstyling. What motivates you when it comes to this stylist?
Do you know what? I feel like for me, and I think most guys will agree, when a man goes to the barbers, because obviously most men don't wear weaves and wigs and stuff like that. When a man goes to a barber, it's like having makeup put on. You know what I mean? The woman finds you more attractive, or whoever it is that you love, they find you more attractive. You look a lot more cleaner. Same thing with a woman. Sometimes I feel like you can look at somebody and think, yeah, this will look better on them. So I feel like a lot of things that we do to the hair is also connected to our emotions as well, how we feel about ourselves as well. Sometimes you could miserably have a patch in your hair, and then if you go to the hairdressers and you get that patch filled out, it just makes you feel so much more better about yourself. So I do actually believe we are emotionally connected to your hair. When you see somebody, you don't look at them from foot to head, you look at them from head to toe. So the first thing that you're going to look at is their face, you know what I mean? So I would say that in terms of hairstyling and stuff like that, it's physical, it's personal. So much different emotions are basically attached to someone's hair. If you cut their hair wrong, that you're gonna get a different emotion. So I think a lot of it is just making sure that you really take time to understand what the person wants, so that you can get the best results.
There's a short story I'll tell you there. In South America, when the Spanish was coming to, the conquistadors came to South America, the Indians or Aztecs were gonna kick them out. And they decide that they're going to kill everybody apart from the barber.
Yeah.
Because what they said, the barber must have superpowers, because these men go in looking all scruffy and everything, and they come out looking like fresh new men.
Yeah.
So they believed that he must have superpowers, so we won't kill him. We can utilize him for our purposes. So there's much truth in what you're saying.
But it's an upliftment, you know what I mean? And sometimes some people don't realize that they need it. That little one bed shave down, or that one little extra track of hair, or that little bit of colour, it goes so far out.
That being said, when you wake up in the morning, do you look forward to work, or sometimes
Well, sometimes I get anxiety because I'm like, who am I going to meet today? Or I love all my customers, but sometimes you may have a customer that is just like, God damn. Like, they want you to be as super formative with them as possible. But I feel like anybody would feel like that, you know what I mean, after spending so much time basically doing one craft. But I love what I do. For me, it's basically like working in a hospital. Within that hospital, I'm the head surgeon. I'm supposed to be able to do everything. You know what I mean? I'm supposed to be able to do everything within my field. And I think sometimes we do forget that we can actually do things within our field. You can be a hairdresser. You can be someone that teaches hair. You know what I mean? You could be someone that just basically focuses on TV hair. You know what I mean? There's just so many different types of avenues and so many different types of hairdressers out there right now. For instance, you have some guys that are doing toupees, some barbers that have started doing toupees. You're finding a lot more women are having short hair, and a lot more male barbers are doing it. You know what I mean?
So I noticed that.
It's a trend the trend is changing. A lot more women are going to male hairdressers. I work in a predominantly male-based hair salon where it's like there's 4 male, and we have maybe around 5 females. But you will find that the main 2 males in the shop, they have a lot more clientele. I don't know what it is. I feel like a lot.
That's based on conversation.
I feel like a lot of it is based on conversation, but
Yeah.
then it's also another thing how you would like your woman to look, kind of thing.
Well,
So I
that's an
think that's
interesting
also in your
concept.
head, yeah. Because how would you like your woman to look? How would you like your grandma to look? You know what I mean?
I wouldn't even get into that. I think she must know how she wants to look.
Most definitely, she's gonna know how she wants to look, but I feel like some women will say a female hairdresser might not give them that little extra zang, but when they go to the male hairdresser, they get whoa, you know what I mean, kind of thing. So I just feel like it's a lot of it is what you get, and I feel like it also depends on you as a stylist because everybody's creative, but everyone's creative levels are different. There's only so far some people will go. Not everybody will go the full way. Some people will go half of the way.
Okay, I hear you.
Yeah.
If you could do it all again, what would you do different?
I think if I could do it all again, I think I would have maybe stuck a little bit more with my theatre stuff, my acting stuff. I would have tried to push that a little bit more. But sometimes life circumstances get in the way and you have to just rise above it and just figure out how you're going to make your next dollar the next day. You know what I mean? But for me, if I was to do a do-over, I think I would have really like pushed maybe my acting a little bit more. But there's still time. I'm not old. I can still do it.
I agree. Remind people where they can find you.
Guys, you can find me in Brixton at 399 Cole Harbour Lane at Elevate Salon. My name is Ashornic Marvin.
Social media.
And my social media is Ash2U. So that is ASH, number 2, and letter U.
Oh, well, thanks a lot for that, and we wish you well.
Thank you very much, man. You have a good evening.
We hope that episode enhanced your life. We post an interview every day as well as vlogging on our social media channel. Don't forget to subscribe to get our latest episode.